from 19 Action News. This is the Marshall Superstore Ford and Lincoln Sports Extra.
It ain't easy being a sports fan in Cleveland, but of course you know that. The Browns haven't won more than 5 games in a season in 5 years. The Indians, they lost more than 90 in 3 of the past 4 years. And the Cavaliers, well, they're still recovering from the loss of you-know-who. Other than that, things are looking up. Hey, everybody, Tony Zarella, thanks for tuning in. Tonight, I am turning it over to you, the fans. We are starting 2013 by letting you speak out in the form of these 3 guests. Mike Taylor, Ron Brown, Joe Morris. Thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Mike, I'm going to start with you.
Great to be here.
You're a longtime Browns fan. What's the most frustrating part of being a Browns fan?
Well, the simple fact is that we continually keep hiring coaches, hiring front offices. We give them these contracts. We never let them finish it out. We finally have an opportunity where we had a GM who was drafting young talent that appeared to be developing. We had a coach who I was not a fan of hiring when we got him, but I thought, you know, at least we got him in here. Let's give him a chance. The team appeared to be improving this year, and then we got a new ownership and we get rid of him. In my lifetime, the Steelers have had 3 head coaches, and I believe this is going to be the 6th or 7th coach since 1999.
6th since 1999, not counting interim coaches. Ron, you were at the Cavs game, you're a longtime fan. You were there tonight. There's a lot of problems. They're not a very good basketball team. They won 19 a couple years ago, 21 last year. That's what they're on pace for again. If you had to pick 1 or 2 things, what is it?
Well, obviously the losing is a big problem for them right now. Injuries, I don't want to use as an excuse, but you look at this team right now, they could probably start a starting 5 with all wearing face masks. You're losing Andy, you lose Kyrie, and, you know, Tristan. They're a young team, and they do what young teams do. They can't finish out games, and this is a perfect example tonight. Kings not a really good basketball team. I think this was their 12th win of the season. So you have to be able to dominate on your home court and enforce your will on them, and they're not doing that. Something's wrong. I don't know whether it's the coaching or just the chemistry with the players, but they just don't have that sync. And they have the players, because you can't use it as an excuse. You have Kyrie, you have Dion Waiters, and you have Tristan, you have Zeller. So they look like they have a lot of young players that can be building blocks, but they just, for some reason, it's not translating into wins.
Same old story in Cleveland. It's a work in progress. Joe, you're rocking the Tribe sweater there. I'm proud of you. And listen, I think the Tribe gets the worst rap in town, by the way.
Yeah.
They've had some failings, not making deals at the deadline, but you could argue certainly they've had the best offseason of anybody.
Yeah, they really have, Tony. At the end of last year, it was frustrating. You know, I think they had the worst August in franchise history, and you know, the year before we were frustrated, as you already indicated. They didn't make any moves at the trading deadline. They got injured a couple years ago. Acta was kind of a laid-back manager. This is different now. We have Terry Francona in here. He's got a couple of rings. You know, they made the big moves with Swisher. They got Bauer, Stubbs. They got some players, and they got that young core that we want them to be able to keep and be able to afford to keep. The Kipnis, Struble, you know, Chisenhall, Santana, those guys. So let's hope we can get this core together and rock it and get it going again.
All right, and guys, jump in now whenever you want, any sport, any team. I thought the Swisher thing was huge. They overpaid a little bit, but I think they had to, and I think he's worth more to the Tribe than he might have been to other teams. What's your take on that?
Early on, it was interesting. It seemed when Swisher first came out, I heard that people were thinking he was going to get $110 million, and then it kind of moved around, and maybe the market kind of set the price for him a little bit. So maybe we overpaid a little at the end, but early on, it seemed like he was going to get a little bit more. I love the move. I'm a Buckeye, so I love that. And he's been in New York. He's been there. He knows it. And you know, let's see him pick up a couple of more little pieces. They picked up Myers, yesterday, last night, this morning.
Brett Myers, Mike, you want to jump in?
I agree with what you're saying. And what I really like to do is see them improve that pitching staff even more. I thought Myers was a good move, but I definitely think they need a little bit more strength there than what they have. We had Matheson.
Well, Trevor Bauer, if he turns out to be, you know, I don't care how he trains or warms up before a game, if he turns out to be look like the 3rd overall pick in the Major League Draft, which he was, then my God, what a steal that'll be for the Indians.
He just turned 22. He's turning 22 this month.
Yeah.
What about Pistano and Perez? You think they should keep Perez and
Yes,
Pistano?
absolutely.
I do.
I do 100%. I think it'd be crazy just because somebody thinks Perez has a bad attitude that we should get rid of him. When is Cleveland just going to take athletes for who they are? They're human beings. They're going to make mistakes. As long as they go out and perform on the field, that's what should matter.
Pistano's phenomenal job as a setup man. I don't think you're right. Ron, I want to ask you, you and I were talking before the show, and you actually brought up the possibility of somebody coming back to the Cavaliers in a couple of years. You know, I got to tell you, I've heard that from a lot of people that Cavs fans would actually accept LeBron back at that time if he were wanting to come back.
You know, it's 50-50. It depends on the actual fan. For me, I've been watching this team for over 25 years, I want to see them win. I don't care what we have to do because the losing has gone on for too long. If it's the Browns, if it's the Indians, if it's the Cavs, I just want to see a winner in Cleveland. If that means we have to take him back to achieve that, it makes some sense because you think about it, the one thing that we needed the whole time that LeBron was here was what? A point guard. Well, guess what we have? A really good point guard. And you add waiters and say if you don't trade Andy or if you do keep Andy, you have a lot of good pieces into the puzzle. So now you have LeBron on that team with all these young players that are going to be more mature 2 years from now. It makes some sense, but I understand the hesitation. You don't want to get left out.
So we got to go. Mike Taylor, Ron Brown, good to see you. Joe Morris, thanks for coming in, guys. Nice job.
Thanks.
Thank you, Tony.
All right, when we come back, we're talking hoops, right? Everybody's busy. Cavaliers and Kings. They got the Buckeyes playing tonight against Nebraska. That was a blowout. Vikings, flashes, that and more when we come back.
Clevelanders like to be prepared for winter weather. Boots, check. Shovel, check. Snowblower, check.
Salmon's huge three for the dagger. 97-94 Cavs fall again. The Big Ten schedule underway. Oh, they should all be this easy. Buckeyes just destroy.